Now, the name Mercenary and the band Mercenary is probably one that a lot of us have kind of grown to know over the past couple of years. Even though this band is still seldom seen in an FYE store, I still know exactly who they are and have a great deal of respect for them, mainly because they have a very unique blend of power progressive metal, which, well, a lot of times has either been displaced into the melodic death genre, or has just been lumped into the nice old, happy, friendly, and large umbrella that is just heavy metal. Now, Mercenary has released a new album here in 2011 entitled Metamorphosis. And the real question is going to be is which Mercenary were we going to get on this particular record, especially with the name of the album such as Metamorphosis. Is it going to resemble a little bit more of 11 Dreams and the Hours That Remain from 2004 and 2006? Two albums that are considered to be rather legendary amongst the underground ranks and are starting to really find their way above the ground and into the hands of a lot of very resourceful Italians. Or is it going to be more like 2008's Architect of Lies, which, while a lot of people figured was not as good of an album as the previous two, well, I kind of dispute that, because I kind of like that album a good bit. It spun it a great deal around the 2008-2009 time frame, and it still remains pretty warm to my heart. So with 2011, what did Mercenary decide to do? They decided to go with another 9-track affair. Metamorphosis is one of those albums where you really see the metamorphosis of this band, considering their early work had a lot more things that resembled a little bit more close to the thrash metal, and now moving into that melodic death, almost Gothenburg / heavy metal ranks. Well, it's almost as though the Metamorphosis title is saying that the metamorphosis is complete. And you can definitely see that. There's still a lot of resemblance to some early thrashing and everything like that. It's not as though they completely lost that touch. However, they're completely willing to soak themselves into the other genres, or subgenres, should I say, that they've been able to associate themselves with. As I said, this was a 9-track affair, and this is one of those albums where, once again, no filler needed. No filler necessary. They took 3 years to hone their craft, and they did it well. The very first thing that you'll notice is that there are keyboards laced within, but you may not see a keyboardist really listed. And that's because that's something that they have done recently. They recently got rid of the man who was taking care of their keyboard duties, and I believe now it's being handled by a session musician. However, that's something that's still very much up in the air. But the keyboards have always been placed in very delicate touches on Mercenary records, and Metamorphosis is absolutely no different. However, this is also an album that's met with a lot of savage riffing and some very creative soloing. Now, the one thing that some people may say about this particular record that may be a little bit touched to the negative, and I will give them this to their credit, is that the formula in which they construct the songs on this particular album, it can get a little bit tedious. You can kind of see where some songs are going. You can kind of see the construction before it even happens, and that sometimes can turn a lot of people off. However, here's the difference between this and, let's say, the Sirenia album from earlier this year, where the same problem did exist. This is done creatively, it's done masterfully, and about as close to perfection as you can with a problem such as this one. This is an album that actually engages you, it keeps you within the music itself, it keeps you not wanting to turn itself off, and it's pretty awesome, I gotta say. This is one of those albums that really, I guess the best way to put it, is that if you take a combination of Architect of Lies, the Hours That Remain, 11 Dreams, the stuff from the earlier stuff, basically the Metamorphosis is complete, as I said earlier. Everything is just mashed together, and it's done so very well, and it's done so very tastefully. So Metamorphosis may seem like a title that may lead to some head-scratching or perhaps some questions as to where Mercenary is going to take this disc. Well, think of it this way. Think of it as Architect of Lies, only on steroids. Good album. Very solid release. Would have to give it a solid 8 out of 10. Keep it up, Mercenary. And 3 years, come on, 2 years was alright. Let's go back to that. That was pretty cool. Stay tuned, guys. This is only the beginning. There's still a lot more from 2010, or 2011, should I say, to tackle. And I mean soon. If you want an excellent exhibition of exactly what I mean by this whole sort of mishmash idea of the elements of Mercenary's past and Mercenary's present, well, the one song I would say to look at is track number 9, entitled The Black Brigade. This song definitely is able to combine both points at sort of a nice little center. Not to mention, it's fucking awesome. Definitely check this out. The solo in the middle gets my seal of approval.